Hey, it's Dawn here. Welcome to this little nugget. If you'd like the full video, go to the Interro Talk playlist on my main page. Enjoy.
Yes, Antoine, I like how she's able to shuffle through the information she is giving in such an emotionally intense moment. Yeah. Maybe practiced, or maybe, she's not an experienced lawyer. We know that. She's been in academia, so she hasn't had a lot of practice in front of jurors or in court in front of a judge. She said it, Antoine says she said it to the repair guy this morning. Is that before or after the time of the incident? If I recall correctly, it was before, because she didn't leave her house until that was done. She had a phone call with her brother and her mother, at least one that we know of. And there may have been others if they were using different phones, a second set of phones, or that were not retrieved, because again, we know that this investigation didn't open up for a couple of years later. So it was before the time of the incident, because she had the TV repair and then she popped in her car and went down to Trescott to Looky Loo. And by that time he was murdered. So why do you ask, Antoine? I'm curious why you asked that question. And I'm going to just check on Katie. I hope Katie is all right. No, she's not here. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'm not going to stop screen sharing just in case we want to look at more if you're interested. So all right. I'm going to just go a couple more seconds here.
Contact number for her.
Oops, I went.
His phone. Yes.
I feel like I need to help my family. What's going on?
No, you're going to get it back. It's just going to.
I already forgot where I left off. I think it's right. Oh,
looks really young. She's very pretty.
By the way, what do you all think about her going into such detail about Danny's girlfriend being pretty and she looking young and that kind of thing? And shouldn't she have moved on from the divorce that she initiated? I don't know. So Antoine says, it gives me the idea that she possibly knew it was coming, and she uses the hitman joke as sort of a self-snitching. As humans, we need to report what we do. Yes, and I agree. I think it might be the self-snitching. That's a good idea. And it could be what I'm calling preemptive strikes, to soften when they get the evidence. They can be like, oh yeah, she mentioned that. So, when somebody says something happened before it happens, we as humans think, oh, well, I knew that was coming, type of thing. And it might soften it a little bit. Yeah, she did seem to be hating on that girlfriend. And she certainly did know a lot of details about, she said she only came to his house that one time. How would she know? How would she know that? He didn't ask that. I mean, there's so many questions I would have asked. Obviously, I'm not in there, but I'd like to ask, how do you know she only came to visit Danny in Tallahassee once from New York? How do you know that? And she had the dates that stood out on the calendar. Antoine, she thought Danny couldn't do any better, and it hurt her when she thought there was somebody better out there. Yeah, for sure. She might have been having second thoughts. Maybe he wasn't such a bad guy, right? Maybe the marriage could have been repairable, but she did seem to really be jealous of Danny's new girlfriend, which I just find crazy, and know all the details about when she was coming and going and all of that. Now, as a mother of, they share children, you'd want to know about someone's significant other, but the level of details, or the details that she's sharing, are just a little bit, tells me like she was maybe even having her followed, or having him followed by an investigator of some sort. Just my thought. Let's see. I'm just curious where I drive. Do you guys remember?
Right. And she has children.
She has a son.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yep, that's the last
for her. But you know she's a professor at NYU.
Yeah.
You know that her and Danny have been seeing each other, and that she stayed here from the end of June to the 1st of July. Just
at least 2 days, maybe. Yeah.
And she met the children.
Yeah, she met a few friends in town too.
And you don't know anything about her ex.
No, I know she was married.
Right. And she has children.
She has a son.
In New York.
In New York.
Okay.
And she met a few friends in town too. She certainly knows a lot. I didn't, I left my husband. I didn't want to stay married to him for various reasons, but I certainly didn't. But again, I don't want to project the way I do things on somebody else, but I certainly wouldn't have known if he had a girlfriend, whether they met his friends or not. I mean, that's just not something, that's just very interesting.
She's a son. I think he's 14.
Okay. Do you know how old Amy is?
She's 50.
She's 50?
Yeah. She doesn't look 50. She's very beautiful. She is, not that you can't be beautiful at 50, but she looks really young. She's very pretty and accomplished. And
You know her date of birth?
I only know that she's 50. I don't, because I was looking her up one time. Feeling.
Oh, okay.
Stalker.
Okay, so she's 50. She goes by Amy Adler.
Her middle initial is M.
Emma? Okay.
So that, like, if you looked her up, oh my God, if you looked her up on the law school website, you find her that way.
Okay.
So she's so far implicated. Possible suspects would be her brother, but he would never do that. One of her friends on her behalf, because she has so many friends. And now she's talking about this girlfriend that Dan had, this beautiful, accomplished girlfriend.
Her brother's he's like a famous fashion designer. So I think they spend a lot of weekends like in the Hamptons, and she lives in the city and lives like, good life.
Okay. You gave me a name of Matt Price, who's in DC.
That's his best friend.
Is that an attorney?
He's an attorney, I'm sorry to deal with so many lawyers.
That's okay, I'm used to it. I gotta deal with state attorney's office, public defender's office, private attorneys.
The only time I've ever been in this, I represent victims of crime. I represent immigrant victims of crime. So the only time I've ever been in this building is like advocating for my clients.
And the
Detective's like, oh, okay. In other words, I don't care. She's awfully chatty Kathy.
other friend?
The other friend is Josh Berman, also attorney. He's in New York City.
A city attorney from New York?
No, he's private. They're both private. And they were like the historic best friends from college and law school.
And of course, Alex is up in Cairo.
I'm assuming they're close. I know that he sleeps over at their house a lot with the kids.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because the kids really love to play together or because they're close, but they spend a lot of time together. I'm sure they're close.
All right. Okay.
Danny's pretty religious, so like he can be connected with like rabbis and stuff in town too.
Okay.
So again, why don't we call the rabbi? I mean, thankfully somebody did, but she's sitting there letting him die in the hospital.
All right. Which synagogue does he go to?
He goes to 2. The one he's most strongly affiliated with is Shomrei Torah. And by the way, if you get another day, I can't use the bathroom. I can really use it. So I'm not going to die, but if I could just, I'm really grateful.
Bam. So at least the detective, that's when he leaves the room as soon as he finds out what synagogue Danny was affiliated with. And so thankfully he called. I learned later, I don't know if you all picked up on this, but that there were folks from the synagogue that were at his bedside, or at least at the hospital when he died, when he was struggling and then when he died. So in any case, thank you for joining. If you are in the live chat, thank you for chatting, especially Antoine. Yay. Antoine, I don't know if you saw the beginning, but there were some StreamYard glitches that I have never come up with, but I had to just change some system settings on my Macintosh for a first time. So the start to this episode was a little rocky, and my partner Katie is not here, and I'm a little worried about her because she's a mom of 3 and she was super excited to join this morning. So we'll see what's happening with her. But for now, and we can take more up in the comments below, but I do have to run. That was a little more than 30 minutes to get us going. And so we'll be back next Monday or sooner. I do have a couple of other people who said they'd like to come on with me. Antoine, you're welcome if you want to discuss the case to join us on the screen. So I'm going to call it a day for now for the live stream, and I'll meet you back in the comments. How does that sound? It's so nice to see you and everyone who's watching and listening and who cares about this case. I really appreciate it. The community who is interested in this case really appreciates having a little bit more light shine on it. And to me, the human factor is just so incredible. There's so many issues about this case, including the less than privileged being in prison right now, and those who they literally said that paid them to do this are sitting there in their homes comfortably in Miami. So with that, we'll see you again soon.